Who the F am I to talk about leadership? I also question my own right to talk about this stuff, but I study this and I share this and I reflect on this myself. And so I'm going to give you my own humble, but I feel educated at the very least on the topic because I study it and I know that it's important to all of us. And so I look at this as something that is collaborative in nature, in that we will grow as leaders together, because I don't think that I'm the foremost expert, because I am not, $100 million CEO yet. There are probably some topics in roofing where I would argue that I could say I'm best in the world, or at least best in class at certain things. When I talk to you, I would encourage you to always ask anybody who's telling you what to do, what's the biggest company that you've built? What's the most money you've ever made? And if they sold their business, what did they sell it for? Because that is the ultimate measure. And so those are the kinds of things that I ask people when I go looking and learning, is I want to know what they've actually done, because I want to absorb as much as I possibly can from them. The way I look at life and business is it's largely this like absorbing of energy and surrounding yourself, putting yourself in a community with other people who are aggressively trying to grow themselves and learn, and staying forever a student, because I want to absorb as much as humanly possible from other people, not just above me, but also below me, because there's so much to learn from anyone. There's so many great lessons out there in the world. We're living in a time like never before, where the communication of information is more free than ever before. Even a guy like Elon Musk, right? If you look at like the Elon Musk playbook, right, who I would argue is one of the greatest leaders of our time. I know he's kind of a polarizing guy, but he wants to learn from everybody, even the people who work for him. Like his like 4-step playbook is like to get in the weeds, to question everything, to create constant urgency so that it creates pressure and opportunities to break things and grow, and then motivate talented people, right? So that's why he'll go and talk to somebody on the floor in Tesla and ask them 38 questions. He wants to learn everything. A good story about how that worked out was when they were making the Tesla Model 3, he went and realized that the whole production line for the Model 3, which was a high volume production line, right? It was the first time he went and built a high volume car. And he found that the whole production line was getting slowed down because of this blanket, this insulation type material that was getting installed. And essentially it had to be like adhered to the underside of the battery. And so he asked one engineer on the floor, he's like, why is this slow? What is going on? What do they have to do? What about the process could be better? How could we do this faster? Could we install it earlier? Where could we do it? Why is this even here? They said, oh, well, we need that because it's like a fire protection for the battery. And he said, well, why do we need fire protection for the battery on the bottom? Like, that doesn't make sense. Fire goes up, da, 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 da. Like, it was something along those lines. When he went higher up from that person, they said, no, actually, that's for noise, vibration, and handling. And so then he went to that person, asked them questions. They said, no, that's for in on the installation. Turns out they actually got to remove this. And there's 2 points where he found this. He found it with some cross member on the frame and some blanket, and he found out that neither of the engineering teams from either department actually needed these 2 components to be there. And it was one of the things that made him able to speed up that production line. But it was just 2 different teams that both over engineered. Then when they trimmed down to find the cost point that they needed to be at for the Model 3, they both determined that this was unnecessary based on other things that were done. And then he sped up the entire production line. That's what it means by getting into the weeds and questioning everything, and creating this sense of constant urgency, and then motivating talented people to make smart decisions. So if he does those things, then I should also do those things. And that's what I mean by trying to, look to the best in the world, or look to the best in your community, or look to the best in your surroundings, say the roofing industry, and try and find the best of the best. And then realizing that leadership breaks down into 3 lids. There's essentially a cap on everybody's ability to lead, in that the business will only grow until it can push the lid up. But your lid is actually broken into 3 categories, as there's more responsibilities to a leader than just to simply lead. Underneath that ability to lead and compel others to do things, there's your operational effectiveness, right? Your ability to operate a company. And so that's kind of where that Elon Musk things comes in, is like he's actually a very, very good operator. If you look at Gary Vaynerchuk, or Alex Hormozi, someone that's very popular today, it's their ability to operate that is strong, right? And Alex, I would say, is probably more standing on the foundation of his wife Layla, who's probably the real great operator. But I think Alex is the better communicator of the two in the principles that have made them successful. But your operational effectiveness is is more than just your ability to compel people, but it's your ability to compel them to do the right thing, to do the thing that will make the business grow. And this is a place where I find myself having to learn and grow every day since launching the platform program, because we're dealing with a wider variety of engineers, of business owners. For you to ever grow your operational effectiveness or your leadership ability, you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in that what you're wanting to do is possible. You have to believe that some of the certain things that you want to do in your business are right. And you have to believe in something so much that sometimes you have to put a bullet in the things that you love and you know you could do, just to keep doing the thing you said you would do, because there's 100 ways to make money. Just the other day, one of the people that that we get consultation from, that we like to make, help us make decisions, suggested that we sell essentially an info product, right? Like some kind of several $1,000 a month mastermind. And I had to stand my ground, because I don't want to be these like guru where you pay for access. I am totally cool with doing these webinars completely for free. I do not want to start some Facebook group for a couple $1,000s a month where I charge for access and community, even though it's a perfectly fine business model and people do it. It's not what I want to do, because I want to grow a services business, not an information product business, not a community business, but I want to build a service-based business. And so even though this person giving us this advice is better than me in many regards, like they based on their track record, they are better than me. But I have to believe in what I'm doing so much that I'm willing to put a bullet in something that I love, and something that or something that I would be good at, that would make the company money, so that I can keep to my promise of doing the thing that I said I would do, which is this business. And so your business will only grow at the rate that you're able to remove the constraints. And in many cases, the constraint is your own ability to lead, and your leadership is broken down into these three lids: your belief lid, your operational effectiveness lid, and your leadership lid.